Hi everyone, it's Tuner. Say it is time for our trajectory checkup. See, life doesn't drift by chance. Life follows the trajectory that you choose. So the question is, what trajectory have you chosen? So when we think about trajectory, the question is this: what direction are we heading? And the nice thing about trajectory is I get to choose the trajectory that I put my life on. So it's time for the whiteboard. And if here we are today, and this is where we're going to a year from now, my choice is this. I can put myself on a trajectory that takes me towards strength, vitality, and mobility, or I can put myself on a trajectory that takes me towards decline, stiffness, and fatigue. That's my choice. Now, all I have to do is come up with a heading, put myself on that direction, and then do course corrections as I'm en route to greater strength. Now here's what's really nice about course corrections. If I'm in progress and I decide I want more strength, more vitality, and more mobility, I can change that course to add to that. Or if I decide that's too much for me to be doing as I'm going along, I can come up with a different trajectory. I get to choose the trajectory, and it's the consistency of doing this that's important, not the intensity. Walking sets you on a trajectory, and if you're out walking with a weighted vest on, that changes your trajectory. Not a better one, just a different one. Prolonged sitting is a trajectory. And being outside running puts you on a different trajectory. Now, if you're fast running or slow running, they're just different trajectories. Consistent weight training is a trajectory. Inconsistent weight training is also a trajectory. Yep, you guessed it. Out bicycling, that puts you on a different trajectory. Now, another trajectory is what we choose to eat. Do I want to eat donuts with sprinkles? Oh, I love sprinkles. Or do I want to eat something that's better for me? That's a choice we get to make every single day, and that choice changes our trajectory. So for today, I think it's sprinkles. Nope. You got to stay the course. So when we think about trajectory, it's not just about movement, it's also about direction. See, every choice we make, every action we take, every time we go for a bike ride or go for a walk, that sets us on a certain course. It's not just about movement, it's about the fact that we're heading somewhere in our life. So the question is, where are we heading towards? What trajectory am I on? Am I heading towards improvement, or am I heading towards decline? Is this about strength and vitality, or is it about stagnation and decline? Life just doesn't drift by choice. Life goes by following a trajectory, and that trajectory is one that we choose. And if I find out that I don't like the trajectory that I'm on, I can change it anytime I want to. So you guessed it. Exercise puts you on a certain trajectory. Not exercising puts you on a different trajectory. It's a choice we get to make. So it's not just about movement. It's about the fact of what we're doing today and where it's heading us towards tomorrow. So let's stop thinking about exercise as just another workout that I have to do, and maybe start thinking about it as a direction that I'm heading my life in. That makes a huge difference. So if we decide to make a change in the trajectory that we're on, the direction that we're heading, that progress that we're going to make doesn't happen overnight. We have to realize it's slow. And it's not about the speed at which I'm moving forward and changing. It's about the fact that I have improved the trajectory that I'm on. See, for every 1 degree course correction that we make, it leads to a dramatically different outcome a year from now. And that's the point. It's not so important what I'm doing today, it's the fact that I'm making that change, and that change is moving me in a different direction. Okay, so imagine you're going to sail from San Francisco, California to Honolulu, Hawaii. When you take off out of San Francisco, you would have a heading in mind that you're going to put that boat on, because that heading is going to set you off in a certain direction. That's your trajectory. And then as you're sailing along, you'd be checking that heading on a continuous basis to make sure that you're still heading in the right direction. I don't think anybody would sail along for a day or two and then check their course, only to find out maybe they are hundreds of miles off course. Then they would have to make a huge course correction to get there. And I think our lives are the same way. We have a heading that we put ourselves on, that trajectory, and that puts us in a certain direction. And then we course correct as we go along. We make small corrections daily to keep ourselves on track, because the goal here is the destination. Is it strength and vitality, or decline and becoming fragile? Now, I think almost anybody would agree that it only makes sense that if you're going to be sailing from point A to point B, that you're making constant course corrections to keep yourself on track so that you end up where you want to go on time. And I think the same thing applies to our lives. Now, I think sometimes we go the whole year with making no course corrections whatsoever by paying attention to our health. If we're not exercising and not eating right and taking care of ourselves, then we go in for our annual physical at the end of the year, only to be blindsided with, I now have a big problem with maybe cholesterol or blood pressure. At that point, I have to make a huge course correction. Nobody likes making huge course corrections. We are much better suited to make small course corrections throughout the year. So wouldn't it make more sense to pay attention to my health and my exercise and my lifestyle, my blood pressure and everything throughout the year, so that I don't end up at the end of the year with this big, massive problem requiring a big, huge course correction? I think another way of saying this is, it's much better to be proactive with our health and our lifestyle than it is to be reactive. Now for me, one of my course corrections is this. I have a blood test done, a blood panel workup, 4 times a year. That way, I don't end up finding out that I am suddenly way off course, and I can keep track of my cholesterol and all the other important markers that come from that blood test. That helps me keep on track, stay on course, and be on the right trajectory. That way, when I go in for my physical at the end of the year, I don't find out, wow, am I off track? And now I have to make that big change that I really don't want to make. So if I decide to make a change in the trajectory of my life, I just really want to make the point that none of this has anything to do with perfection. It's not about speed. It's not about how extreme we are. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. Doing something different that is improving your life consistently over time leads to huge transformation. So remember, it's always consistency over intensity.